Good evening, and welcome. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening, and I'm here for you every night from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday, on Talk Radio 1340. Our subject is always about psychic awareness and the tools that you should know about. And some of them, most of them, you should not use. Use your own insight. We are here to educate us. God gave us a brain, and how much do you use of that brain? Not very much. But you can learn to use, and for me to help educate you to use this for your own psychic awareness. So we talk about many things on this program, and we have guests our first hour. Tonight we have an unusual guest, believe me. I have had this guest on twice before, but because so many things are happening also in the news, I thought it would be interesting to have him on tonight. So here we go, listeners. Buckle up. Let me give you this number because I'm sure we're going to have call-ins tonight on our first hour. And our second, too. Our second hour is psychic readings. But tonight, I want you to get this phone number early. It's 582-8255 in the Palm Beaches, and South County toll-free is 276-8255. A lot has been going on with cults. I had one program last week with Reverend David Nichols when this thing happened in Texas with Koresh, and it's been going on and on and on. We had a very nice response because there's a lot of cults going on out there, and we need to know more about them. This evening, I have a guest with me, Jualt Christos. He has written many books, but the one book that is very obvious, that has been shown to me a couple of times, is a book with no name. Jualt Christos claims to be Jesus Christ. And good evening, Walt. I'm sorry I can't call you Jesus tonight, okay?
Oh, just call me Walt.
Okay, Walt. This is a big subject, you know that.
All right.
Pull this down a little bit closer to you, okay? This is a red-hot subject, as a matter of fact. You were born in France.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you've had a little bit of an unusual way of coming into this world, correct?
Correct.
Well, come on, talk to me here.
Right.
Listen, it's in print. If it's in print, it's for our listeners to know.
All right. Basically, I was born through cesarean section because my mother fell down a flight of stairs. And she just happened to be across the street from an experimental medical facility that was working on premature births on primates, usually primarily chimpanzees. So since she was there, they brought her into that facility, and that is where I was born through cesarean section. So thereafter, I was the first human baby ever frozen. I suppose it was a hypothermia condition, but my mother, I checked with her after the last time on the show, and she says that she was told frozen is the word to use. And the doctor was Dr. Minkowski. And thereafter, I don't know how long I was in the frozen state, but after that I was incubated. And when they felt that I was, say, big enough to come out of the incubator, they had to operate on me for a green growth in the back of my head, which was somewhat tumorish. And then we came to America, and on the way we went through a hurricane, and we were baptized during the eye of the storm. So that is the infancy.
Okay, well, continue. You were here at, what, Bethesda by the Sea? When this hit you, right? When
I was 6 years old, as the choir came into Bethesda by the Sea, and I was struck by what I would say would be a blinding white light and a voice which said to me, "You are Christ," and it literally knocked me out. When I regained consciousness, I was outside of the church on the ground with many adults looking down at me, and apparently someone had gotten smelling salts. And I looked up at them, and I said, "Why me?" And they said, "Well, did you eat breakfast today?" And they were trying to explain to me why I had lost consciousness, and I was wondering why would I be Christ. And so
Who told you that you were Christ after you were hit with this light?
Well, that's always questionable. I had visions through time thereafter, which claimed to be from God, which would have both sound and picture, and somewhat like watching a movie. And so the visions and the voice claimed to be God.
Okay. And so that you claimed, you were told to go forward?
I was told to go. Not until I was in my late teens was I told that I would have to go public into the world.
So you heard another
the early
message or voice or another bolt of light or what?
Just another vision. The early visions were, say, educational experiences. They showed me pictures of the past and of, say, what I would call potential human futures. They explained to me what I now call the four paths, which are the four potential human futures, which you might want to go into
later.
They're a topic of their own, correct.
You're not getting me off the mainstream on this,
all right,
okay?
well,
We're going to stay to this. It's in print. It's out here. And I want our listeners to know, just as if I would pick up this book with no name, and with the author claiming is Jesus Christ. I want to know about it.
Right.
Okay, and I owe this to my listeners.
All right, well, then in general, through time, I listened to the visions, and I did not go forward. And finally, the visions got to a point where what I did was I made a compromise. All right, what I thought was a compromise, which was that I would write a book and put down the messages and the teachings that I had been given, and that perhaps this book could go forward into the world in my place. And I wrote or made notes of this book for a 3-year period of time, which in 1978 I felt that I was pretty well done with at least the rough draft for this manuscript, which I called Basic Earth Reality. And it was right after that, and I was walking down, Truman, I guess, in Key West, right outside the Catholic Church, which might be Mary Star of the Sea. And I was hit with another vision which told me that if my work was done, if I was going to rest content now, if I felt that I had done my bit, then it was time to call judgment, but that if I went forward, then judgment would not be called until my time was done.
So actually this vision's telling you that if you don't go forward, you're gone.
The picture...
You're out of here.
No, not me, but the world.
Excuse me.
Yeah. What I was shown was a clear vision of Armageddon at that time, which was implied to be a nuclear war, which would result in the destruction of civilization. And the idea was that humanity, as a whole, was more negative than positive, and Armageddon was the judgment that humanity deserved. All right?
Okay, so what happened after Key West?
I agreed to go forward. And I stayed in the Keys, I suppose, another 2 years after that. And
what was the time period down there?
I was in the Keys from 77 till October of 1980, and then I came back up here, and I've been up here since 1980. I have spoken to groups, and I have written my manuscripts. Okay.
We're going to get right back, believe me, with our guest tonight, Jualt Christos, Jesus Christ. That's what you claim. That's what you're saying. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening, and we have an exciting guest this evening. I'm very lucky.
Me too.
582-8255 and 276-8255 in the Palm Beaches. Don't go away. Our lines are open if anyone has any questions for Jualt Christos. Good evening and welcome back. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening. And yes, we're here for you. Listen to that music. Yes, that is music by Michael Moog de Medici. and composer, writer, director. He will be on our show Friday evening at 7:30 on Channel 5, Comcast. And looking forward to all of you seeing what Michael Moog de Medici with the interview, and also excerpts from our luncheons, and lots of other interesting things. So I think you'll enjoy this program. It's a little different. It'll tell you about what we're doing in the coming weeks on our programs that will involve you. Before we get back to our guest this evening, I do want to mention the Center of Family Services in Palm Beach. Get back to our subject matter. There's a lot in the news about cults. This man in Waco who claims to be Jesus Christ. And this guest this evening we have also claims to be Jesus Christ, has written a couple of books, has one out, a book with no name. And his name is Jualt Christos. And he, before our commercial interruption, we were explaining how actual Jualt started this quest. Now, you were in Key West.
I was in the Keys then, and I wrote a collection of notes which became a small book and put it into some of the local bookstores there. Actually, it was kicked out of one because of apparently one of the religious groups there didn't like it. But it was kept in another which was called The Mirrored Soul, and which was owned by a woman named Sandy, who's since has moved up to
Well, I'll
Orlando.
tell you, I was there 13 years, but I was there after you. All right, so I wasn't aware of a lot of,
Right. Well, other than that, I did start sending out a hurricane protection pledge, which was that I would protect any area that I have lived in, been in, enough to establish a feeling for it, and would protect it from hurricanes. And where there may have been some great benefit to others from this, I accepted that I was gaining publicity and that it was also benefiting me. And what I had hoped was that some of the publicity would help to get a publisher interested in my teachings, because I believe that my teachings are the most important thing I have to offer, that everything else about me is only temporary.
But you see, you're giving psychics a rough time here when you're predicting things like this to get
I'm not
publicity.
predicting. I was not predicting. I am more of a, say, a scanner or a projector. I
So
have
what were you
some
saying about the
receptive
hurricanes?
abilities that I would prevent them from hitting, that I would protect certain areas, those that I could, from hurricanes. And to some degree I can say so far so good. With Andrew hitting,
I was going to say here.
Andrew did not hit an area where I have been. But at the same time, I will say that I did everything I could to prevent Andrew from hitting land, and so in that I failed. But to me, that's okay, because I would rather try and fail than not try at all. And part of what I do, I believe, is to set an example as a good human being, and sometimes failure is part of that example.
Okay. So then you went on to coming up to the Palm Beaches.
Came up here, and I worked. I work a lot. I hold a regular job. I do not seek... Okay, first of all, I do not seek a personal following. I do not seek to form a group around me. I offer teachings, and that is about the extent of what I do as Christos.
Okay.
And so I have spoken to different groups, and I write. I try to help people as I am able.
Okay.
And
Well, I met you on Beyond the Supernatural.
Correct.
Which was a radio program.
Yeah.
That was Beyond the Supernatural.
Beyond the Supernatural.
Linda Poliat has a question for you, Walt.
Walt, what I'd like to know is, how did you protect these areas? I mean, how did you project that to protect those areas from a hurricane?
All right. Okay, first of all, it is what I use a few methods. One is visualization, where I can touch anything that I can touch within my own mind, meaning something that I have a memory of firsthand. And As long as my memory is accurate, then I can touch that area. I say I can influence 4 things. All right. So in the case of a hurricane, for instance, I would call for a high cell or a cold front. I would call for real things, not just manifesting out of thin air. I would say I have influence and not total control. So visualization is one of those, and to some degree I am adept enough where I do not need deep meditation. But in early training and learning, because I had to learn how to harness my abilities, all right? To some degree I am a natural psychic, in that there were things that I could do accidentally, but I had to learn about them, and there is no black and white.
But you see, Walt, all right, Jesus Christ, all right, could be, he was the super psychic. You understand? All right. So if you're Jesus Christ,
there was much that I did accidentally, and I wished to learn to control that which I was doing, in part to protect people. I carried what I called bounce, and in my younger years it was very, very strong, and that was that, as I said, I'm a projector. I can cause things to occur. And one of the things that happened a lot was inadvertent bounce. People would say things around me, and those things would then occur. And I wish to protect people from me, as far as that goes. So I had to learn about it.
You went on with this, and then you had written a couple of books, The Rapture of Christos, The Life of Christos. Okay, all right. And that didn't work.
Oh,
so then,
no, you're wrong.
Well, all right, I'm wrong, but let me continue
Let us say that I look at all my writings.
All right, it worked, but it didn't work the way, all right, because you went into the metaphysical side.
No, those are metaphysical.
Yeah, but then you really went into it, though.
No more, no
you
less
leaned
than
more,
ever before.
Well, it says here, you know, that these certain things when you were younger did not work. It was a negative experience in his life.
I am sure that nothing says that.
What
I say in there, what was a problem was that I met with a lot of rejection when I went out as Christos, as God had directed.
Right.
Consequently, there was a lot of negative bounce. And I did not see that as a good path, either for me or for the teachers.
Yeah, but you went more into the New Age, the karmic stuff. And this is what I'm saying. You grouped with those people instead of going into the religious sector.
No, I've grouped with all peoples as far as that goes. I mean, I've spoken.
Okay, I want to ask
I've spoken in churches. Barbara.
All right, fine.
I have.
I know, but when they didn't respond the way that you wanted them to, you leaned toward more of the metaphysical.
No, I've always been metaphysical.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Whatever. What I'm looking at here is your book that you wrote. That's out here for public knowledge.
Correct.
And you're stating, okay, that you're Jesus Christ, not a messenger of the word, not a worker
you say
of it.
I'm a messenger of the word and a worker of it.
No, you're saying you're Jesus Christ.
Are you saying that Jesus Christ is not a worker of the word and a messenger of it?
Yes, he is. But you're in physical form here stating that you are Jesus Christ. Okay? All right. We have that in us, but I'm not sitting here stating that I am the Blessed Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ. I have that in me in my religion and my beliefs, but I'm not stating that I am that. You are stating
this is true.
You are Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ to me, okay, is my Savior, all right? He's my follower. He's my spiritual. God is my master. That's what it's all about. And there is no way conceivable that I can see this when there's a book in front of me that states, okay, that premarital sex is wrong, homosexuality and bisexuality is all right. It states here.
Yeah, I don't think that those are spiritual questions. I think those are social issues.
Wait a minute. This is in a spiritual book that you wrote as Jesus Christ. So anybody picking this up would say, oh, okay, this is Jesus Christ's writings here. And homosexuality is fine, bisexuality is fine, and the answer that you're giving is that it's karmically neutral.
Karmically neutral.
Bunk.
No, it is.
I'm sorry.
Well, then you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Certainly you are.
You are stating that this is okay. Jesus Christ and God, this is not something that, this is not written. You wrote it, not them. Okay?
This is true.
That's right.
No.
Okay. I'm just stating that this is the book that's here in front of me.
I think that any bigoted view breeds resentment, negativity, and conflict. They may have social purpose. They may be well-meaning. But as far as spirituality goes, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, it
and
doesn't.
You're teaching people this.
Yes.
Interesting. We'll be right back after a few messages. Our number here is 582-8255 in the Palm Beaches and 276-8255. I'm Barbara Norcross, and I'm Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening. And I need help, listeners. Let's ask some questions here. I want to nail this subject. Jualt Christos, this is a book out here for the public. Let's hear from you, please. We'll be right back.
Humana Healthcare plans are now.
Good evening, and yes, I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening. I'm here for you every night, Monday through Friday, from 7 to 9. First hour we have guests, the second hour is psychic readings. And don't forget, tomorrow night is 2 hours of open lines for discussion on any of the guests that we've had during the week or for psychic readings for you. Before we get back to our guest, you heard that theme song. Everybody knows we're playing these songs, and there are a few other stations that are starting to play them too. Yes, which is great. I just was told that today. Now, I would like for Mr. Moog, Michael Moog de Medici, his wife, Helen. Like I say, she's not feeling up to par, and he wrote this wonderful song for her, especially. And I've had a lot of requests for it, too. Last night, people wanted to hear it again, and it's called Close to Perfection. Now, I want to get back to our subject matter. Jualt Christos, Jesus Christ. You're here.
Yes.
Okay, we have a caller. Hello, Thea. Thank you for waiting.
Yes. Michael, is that his name?
No, it's Walt.
Oh, Walt. Are you the Jesus that was crucified for our sins?
I believe so.
Do you have the nail prints in your hands?
No, I do not.
Then you're not the Jesus that was crucified for us.
Oh, well.
Well, is that all you have to say?
I can't please everyone. I've found that all the different Christian groups and world groups, each have got a million expectations. So the only thing I can do is cut the knot, go forward, just be me.
Do you read the Word of God?
Yes.
The Bible?
Yes.
Do you believe it?
Conditionally, yes.
Because it tells us in there that he has the nail prints in his hands. Have you healed anyone? Any blind eyes?
I've not.
Cause them to see?
Metaphorically, I could go along with that one. As far as actual blindness, no.
Have you raised any from the dead?
No, I have not.
Well, my goodness. Then I can't understand how... And I feel sorry for you. You need much prayer. You have been picked of Satan because the Word says that in the last days they will come and say that they are Jesus. So I will be praying for you, Walt, because I think you're very sincere in what you believe, but you are far from being able to prove any of these beautiful things about our Lord and Master. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Thea, for calling. Well, I asked for help, you see.
Yeah, well.
And I do get it. We have a Father up there who does give it.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that fully. You know, I believe I'm fully within the realm of God, and that God is actually a friend to me, and probably one of my strongest supporters. And when I have my moments of darkness and, say, oppression or...
You have moments of darkness?
I have moments of sadness.
Sadness?
Of sadness. I have my trying times. I don't see myself as necessarily different than anyone else. And
But if you were Jesus Christ, in his darkest moment, he wasn't dark.
I wasn't necessarily saying that
but
I
you
was
say-
dark. I was saying that I have had dark moments. And now Jesus had moments of anger. Jesus was human, all right? And
But he believed in his Father.
so do I. I think that's what I was just saying. All right? So, no,
What? Come on, Walt. Yeah, right. You don't know what to say, right?
well, I sort of finished the thought.
See, I'm just concerned about what you're doing with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I bring people on this program to make you listeners out there aware of what's going on out here. And as you know, there's a lot going on with cults.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's one of the reasons I asked you back on.
Yeah, correct. I heard
Also-
a concern expressed that I might be trying to build a cult, and
That's right.
I definitely am not. I don't want a personal following. I do not wish to form my own group.
Then
per
why
se.
are you forming groups? And you have a newsletter here.
No. Let us
Yeah,
go
you
back.
do.
That is not a newsletter. That
What
is
is
a
it?
bit of information. Okay, let me read it here. It says some terms and tidbits for you. Metaphysics.
All right, but
According
this
to
is-
Webster, metaphysics is the part of philosophy concerned with the study of the ultimate causes and the underlying nature of things. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, metaphysics is the holistic search for the common denominators of all things to help bring the world together in peace. All I did with bringing this in was to provide you with
Okay.
educational material should you wish to
Which-
actually do something like that.
Okay, but that's also what you are doing with other people, correct? Aren't you giving
Yeah.
people this information?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I do
Aren't
see
you
myself
lecturing?
as a teacher.
All right, you're a teacher.
All right, I do not see myself as
What
a
are your credentials
leader.
for teaching?
I have studied very, very much, and on all levels and of all things, and that is my main credentials
Okay.
as far as that goes.
Well, where are you doing your teaching? I mean, is it in...
Right now, I'm planning to have classes come this summer on metaphysics. I do not promote myself. If I have a class, I will ask for a love offering, but I will not charge for the service. I am primarily concerned with what I call maintaining and improving the condition of the world. And, to that end, that's what I will do. Again, I don't want to form my own group. In fact, I warn people to beware of cults.
Exactly.
I say watch out for groups that
What
say
do you
that...
think of this guy in Texas? What do you think Jesus Christ would say about this guy in Texas, what he's doing?
Personally, I do not like the violence that he has caused, and it is not the first episode of violence around him. He was arrested in 1988 on an attempted murder charge. He joined a Seventh-day Adventist breakaway group, and the woman was in her 80s who had founded it, and she had a son. The son hoped to take over the group when the mother died, and Koresh became the lover of the mother, and thus gained influence in the group. When the mother died, there was a power struggle between the son and he as to who would take the group. And to determine leadership, they decided that they would resurrect a dead member. And whichever one was able to resurrect the dead member would become the leader, either the son or Koresh. So the son went and he dug up the body, and Koresh went to the authorities, and he told the police, well, you need to arrest this man for defiling a graveyard. And so the police went to arrest the man, but they could not find the body. So then Koresh and about 8 followers attacked the compound where the son lived, and they were subsequently arrested and put on trial for attempted murder. So basically, I don't think highly of him.
Oh, I certainly hope not. I mean, you know more about Koresh than the media do here.
No, that I all gained from the media.
Yeah, I'm just
that
saying,
was in
though.
People magazine about 2 weeks ago. And then, he fostered... There are many differences between he and I, for sure. He assumes a leadership position. I don't. I take an advisor or a teacher position. He has a social interest. He tells people how they must live. I have a spiritual interest.
Yeah, but he started also with a spiritual interest. Claiming, okay?
I think
He's using the words
maybe
Jesus
it's just
Christ.
Maybe
That
it's just
is an open spiritual leadership. You don't have to say you're leadership. All you have to say is that you're Jesus Christ, and you have vulnerable people out here, all right, who will follow for help. This country is in trouble. We're having hard times. Everybody wants answers. I'm a psychic. I'm out here every day helping people. But I do not claim anything like this. I am working for God, but I never would ever claim anything as far as Jesus Christ or that type of thing. I mean, but you have.
I only do.
And so has he.
I only do as God directed me to do.
That's what he's saying.
Perhaps. I don't think he has said that. I think in his case
he said he is waiting.
He is waiting. Okay.
To hear an answer from Jesus Christ.
From God. Rather than from Jesus.
I'm sorry, he's Jesus Christ. Right. I got so many in the booth here tonight, I don't know where I'm at. Well, the real one, well, we know where he is. I do. Do you?
Yes.
Where?
Here.
No way. Sorry.
No way.
I don't believe that. I believe that, no, I'm sorry. I can't agree with you on that.
Well, I don't require people to agree with that.
I understand
I don't care if they do
I know
or
you
not.
don't care, but I care. That's why you're here, because I've seen so much going on with people making these statements. It's in the news. We've had loss of lives. We have children who are following severe demonic cults, stating that that they are of this, spirituality.
Well,
it's
there's
tainting
some that just say out and out worship
our religion.
Satan.
Right, it's tainting our religion. And as Thea said in the Bible, it said that there will be false prophets.
Many. It said there would be many.
That's
and there
right.
have been all through time,
And
ever
as
since...
far as I'm concerned, you're one of them, Walt.
when Jesus was first supposed to reappear, it was like 60 A.D.
I know.
And there have been false Christs since then.
Okay. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening, and yes, we have an interesting guest in our booth. Jualt Christos claims to be Jesus Christ. Our number here is 582-8255 in the Palm Beaches, and South County toll-free is 276-8255. And we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hi, this is...
Good evening and welcome back. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening. And yes, we still have some time in our first hour. Our second hour, we have psychic readings. But right now, we are with Jualt Christos. Jesus Christ has written a couple of books, but one of the newest one is a book with no name. We went through some of that. We are now talking about cults.
Yeah.
Before I get back into cults, because it's so prevalent in the news, and it shouldn't be just because this fellow in Texas is in the news. We should be aware of it all the time. It's happening right here in Lake Worth.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I would.
Well, maybe once you are more educated, you won't either. You see?
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well,
I know
you
for
should,
a fact that
technically.
there are groups, okay, out here
Oh, I
that
thought
are
you
negative.
meant me. I would agree that there are groups that are negative, but I thought
that
you were...
are cults. Right. No, I
Okay.
didn't direct that, but maybe I should.
No, I don't. I think you're psychic enough to know that you shouldn't.
Butter up the host now.
Yeah,
well,
a little bit.
Little.
A little bit.
Yeah, right. Now, your beliefs as Jesus Christ. Do you go to a house of God?
Yes.
Do you worship?
Yeah.
Do you receive communion?
Yeah.
Do you give communion?
No, I do not.
Why?
Because according to the existing religions, I don't have the credentials to do so.
Why didn't you get them? If you're Jesus Christ, you would zip right through everything.
No, I see myself as an advisor or a teacher. All
Yeah,
right?
but wouldn't that give you, a little bit of...
No, I see what you're saying. To some degree, you're correct in that. But I wanted to simply set an example that a person could be a good person and live in the world, that such a thing was possible. And that is the example that I'm trying to set, and that is possibly the most important thing I'm doing. All right?
Okay.
So to be clergy would be, in a way, separate from the people, and I wish to be
But Jesus
of
Christ
the people.
was a clergy.
Well, he was a rabbi, but in that time period, it was a little bit different in that you didn't have, say, a formal building. He sort of
For
went...
some reason, I just felt like I was in the Twilight Zone when you said that.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe you were. I wasn't, but... You know,
No, I'm here. You're not. Come on, Walt.
You know.
Back to cults.
All right. I generally...
How are you different?
Then, okay, first of all, I generally tell people to beware of cults.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And I give them, say, 5 little warnings. One is, watch out for any group that says that only their way is right. I tell people to watch out for groups which require you to give them anything or everything. I watch out for groups that try to isolate you from the world in any way. Watch out for groups that tell you exactly how to live, and watch out for groups which have hypocritical leaders. Yes, I do. It's
Have
in
you
my
done
writings.
it before? Have you done this before this national
Yes.
coverage?
Yeah. It's in my textbook, which is a bigger book. And all those warnings which I just said are totally in line with what I do teach. If you, going back to Koresh for a second, you know, he wants people to worship him. I tell people to worship God. And
No, you're not, because you're claiming you're Jesus Christ.
I don't want
people... And they
people...
worship Jesus Christ.
Not when he was alive, no.
People worship Jesus Christ today.
Maybe today.
You bet.
Well, I don't want them to worship Walt.
And when you say you are Jesus Christ, that is an automatic worship me.
Actually, what I say is that I am Jualt Christos. I say that I am the spirit of Christos reborn through human host. I say that it's a reincarnation, all right, per se, and that my life as Walt is new, and that I, too, am a learning and evolving spirit, all right? I don't want any power over others. Koresh is waiting for the end of the world. I don't really believe in the end of the world. I believe in eternity. I believe there is no end, only new beginnings. Koresh tries to isolate people from the world and rejects the world.
You believed in Armageddon.
Yeah, but I didn't believe that would end the world. I believe that would end the civilization. I believe that there would be lots of people who would have to suffer through the consequences. And even those accepting, say, reincarnation would have to be reborn into that kind of a future environment. All right, but I did not believe, poof, and it's all over. You know, in the same way that Nagasaki and Hiroshima are inhabited today.
You follow the Jesus Christ. You know, you say you are, and this is what you're doing. What is he thinking? Koresh.
Koresh?
What is he thinking?
He is thinking that he has the 7 seals. I have touched his mind to see.
I want to hear this.
All right. He is thinking that this confrontation is setting in the motions that will end the world as we know it. What he is waiting for, basically, at this point, is his first seal would be your storm of the century, the winter storm that just went through. That, in his mind, is God's disapproval. The second thing is the breakup of Russia, which will lead to either an atomic civil war over there or their hardliners holding us responsible for Yeltsin and nuking us. He is hoping that that kind of a war will occur, and our system of order will break down and the government will back off of him. That's why he's a survivalist group.
You're stating about the world happenings right now. What is this man thinking about, sitting in there with these hostages, so-called hostages, his following? Some people injured. I mean, some has been killed.
I think he just rejects the world so totally. All right.
But he's waiting to hear from Jesus Christ. I mean, he's just supposed to say Jesus Christ. Excuse me, he's waiting to hear from God.
I think that's about it. He's waiting for the end of the world.
I think the FBI should give him a message.
They are, and I approve of the way the FBI is now handling it. All right, because
thank you, JC.
I think that they are minimizing bloodshed, and I think they're being reasonable. They have the situation under control. He's not going anywhere. They can afford to be patient, all right, and they are. And one of the last things that they did that I liked very much was they broadcast the negotiations that they had had with him on the phone back to the compound so that everyone in there would know what had actually occurred.
Well, they're using psychologists here, okay?
Which is nice. Their first thing was an armed attack without warning, which killed his 2-year-old son and shot him in the back so that his followers opened fire in self-defense. That's a mess. They reported...
So you're saying he was right to fire back then?
He did not fire back. He was shot. He crawled into the building. His followers didn't know who was attacking, and they fired back. The media's first report was that 4 agents had been gunned down when they tried to arrest him on a child abuse charge. It was a week later that they said that 200 agents had been involved, 15 injured, and 4
they're
killed.
up against an arsenal and a maniac who has children and hostages in there.
Then they would have been better off taking the people as they came out and putting the seeds that they have now.
Wait a minute.
That
You
would have
as
been
Jesus
bloodless.
Christ, what is this other Jesus Christ thinking? What is he going to do with these people? What in the heck is going on here? You tell me. You claim it.
Sure. What he is thinking, I don't agree with him, okay? But what he is thinking is that the
that's a cop-out.
the existing a cop-out would be to tell you, I don't know. I'm telling you, I do know.
I don't want to hear this. What's going on in the brain?
If you would stop talking, I would tell you.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. He is thinking that the existing system of order is going to break down probably because of a nuclear war, and that the government will then back off because it'll have enough to contend with, and his people who have their own food source, water source, power source, and weapons will survive. He is probably entirely wrong, but that is the answer to your question. That is what he is thinking.
Why aren't you helping him then?
Because I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in isolation. I see him as self-serving, that he wants material gain. He tells people, give me everything you've got.
If I was you, and if I claimed to be Jesus Christ, I'd be out in Waco.
Well, then you're probably a little more Waco than me. No,
Not necessarily. If I believed in that, which I don't.
I offered to speak to him.
You did.
Yeah.
You called.
I talked to the FBI.
I knew that, see? And you didn't know that I knew that. But I'm a psychic, and I just pulled it out of you.
We have mutual friends.
I did not talk to anyone. I knew nothing.
Yeah, I did offer.
But I knew, sitting here, you did that.
I felt that maybe it might rattle him a little bit and help to end the situation.
Okay. Hello, Gertrude. We only have a few minutes, but can I help you, please?
Yes, I wanted to ask Walt. He says he's Jesus Christ and he comes from God. How would he describe God? What is God?
I think the essence of God is love. I could give you more technical descriptions, but I think that is the best.
But I know two things what God is.
Please.
What I can say it in, it's love, and there is something else. Can you tell me?
I say God is all that is, that God is, say, what the Indians would call the Great Spirit. I'd say that God is the oversoul of all oversoul.
No, God is love and law. And do you know what the law is?
There are many laws. Each group has their own.
No, but there is specific law. He gave us law.
Each group has specific law.
And we are in the energy of law. Either we do positive or negative. And the law is the 10 Commandments and the Sermon of the Mountain.
That was true till Jesus, yes.
And that's and there
according to
and if
Christian
you don't
belief.
know that, you are not Jesus Christ.
No,
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Gertrude, for calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say that is Jewish current belief, but Christian belief
If you're
is
Jesus Christ, you should understand it.
I understand, but Jesus changed that.
Thank you, Jualt Christos, Jesus Christ. Wow, what a program. Let me tell you, I know where my God is. He's with us, with you, and with me. I'm Barbara Norcross, Palm Beach's Psychic in the Evening, and I will be right back with psychic readings for you to give you insight at 582-8255 and 276-8255. Don't go away. Linda Poyat, welcome to the booth.
Thank you, Barbara. How are you tonight?
Oh, fine. I feel blessed. Wasn't that something?
That was quite a program.
Thank you. I have had him on 3 times before, and I've been gentle. But the subject matter that's been in the news, it bothers me.
I know.
Every day, I do consultations, readings, and I'm touched by people who are having awful, what would you say, things that backfire with misconceptions on the subject matter, people claiming that they are different things and following them and claiming they're Jesus Christ. And it's in the paper on the front pages all the time recently. But I have a lot of mothers and dads who come to me who have children who've been in cults and family members, really, and it's devastating to me. And I finally nailed him. You knew that. And when I seen that when I said about the FBI, that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about that.
No, I know.
Till tonight.
I know.
But I knew he did that. But this man needs a lot of prayer.
Very much so.
I know. But he writes, if you put things in writing, it's questioned.
That's right.
And he knew it when he came on. All right. So, we probably will never have him on again because he probably won't come back on.
I don't know. I think he would.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
Well, he's always welcome. I mean, he is always in the line of fire. But if you claim you're I'm sorry. You have to be in the line for questions. I am.
You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're my producer.
Yes.
How many times do I go through the fortune-telling bit and so forth and so on?
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many.
But it's constant. But I'm out here doing it every day, and I'm a public figure. Radio, television, lectures. I'm just saying this is why I'm doing it, because I want you to know we are real.
That's right.
You are real. This program is about psychic awareness and spirituality. And I follow only one thing, and that's my spirituality, and that's God.
That's right.
I go where He takes me. And He's taking me right here to WPBR tonight. Before we get to our callers, Lynn, Lisa, I'll be right with you. And we do have another open line at 582-8255 in the Palm Beaches and 276-8255. I would just like to mention again, because this is very, very special. As they say, somewhere a child is crying. And on April 17th at the Marriott Hotel in Palm Beach Gardens, they are having a luncheon. And it's a fashion show, and it's also an auction. And I am donating a $100 reading gift certificate as a gift. And it's $40 a person. And so please remember this function. It is for and it is benefiting our parents in need with the program of helping abused children and families at risk. So long as little children are allowed to suffer, there is no true love in this world. So please.